Hey, hello chocks. Patience is what I'm struggling with at the moment, yes. Allowing things to come rather than seeking them out, in a way, which is interesting. You have got so much mud in your ear. Is that okay? Do you want me to scratch it off? Yeah. I know you're all looking to come in here, aren't you, really? Yeah. It's funny how I've been feeling recently. It's very much about patience, opening, allowing. May I? Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's so wet, isn't it? Hey, wherever you go, you're getting through wet, horrible stuff. Very muddy. There, Nesh. It's okay. Just be careful because there's a Timmy there, and you know you'll jump. So. Oh, Nesh, have I really got to let you in there? Hey? I'd rather you ate the hay up down the road. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you in because I'm very because I'm a soft touch. Yeah, it's okay, Nesh. Let's just take it off here, shall we? I know. Wait. Come on then, this way. Come on. So much water. Okay, Nesh, I'll let you in a minute. Are you coming in here, missus? I'll leave that there. Nesh, stop. I'll let you in the gate. Wait. I'm coming. He's coming. Yes. You know where the gates are, don't you? Hey. Stop there, wait. It's okay. I gotcha. Come here. Fish. Stop. 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 That's it. Good girl. Just wait a sec. Wait. Okay. That's it. Come on then. You can come. Walk on. Mind the first. That's it. Good girl. Well done. The others can see their way out, so at least she knows the gate's open. I'll just shut off. The other one. Now Karida's in. Oh, so much water this winter. It's almost like we're going into dry seasons and wet seasons rather than, we haven't had much of a winter, frankly. But the horses have enjoyed it because they get to go on the fields until the grass starts growing, which it probably will do in the next few weeks. Hey, yeah, is that fun? Hey, a little bit in the grass today, isn't there, with the sunshine? Yes. So, patience. Sorry, I'm a bit sort of. I've taken a couple of days where I've sort of gone, well, where are we going next? And I think this is part of what's going on at the moment, is to allow things to settle, allow things to allow space for the next thing to happen. And that, in a way, feels interesting, because allowing things to happen is very different from trying to make things happen through controlling outcomes, expectations, and things like that. And as I said earlier, patience is the big thing for me at the moment, because I do like to try and work out what's next, where we're going, what's the next project, what's the next thing that's going to interest me, and to actually just sit back, be present without considering the next steps is not an easy thing. To do it makes me feel quite nervous. Like, oh, look at all these worms. Worms have come up to the surface because of the water. So I always look to chocolate for my patience. And also Nesh for my acceptance of where we are, and that it's okay to just be, to allow things to settle, because change, and I know I've accepted quite a lot of change in my awareness recently, it's stronger, but to allow it to just be there is quite an interesting feeling. To know to know that I can be aware without trying. See, trying, it's that difference. Knowing is not trying. How do you explain that? If you're trying, what you'll get back is trying. But knowing you're aware, knowing deep down inside that if one of the horses wants to share something, you will know that. You don't have to try and connect with them every day. And I think this is a little bit of a change for me, where instead of it's the next level up from on the same circle of going out and checking they're okay twice a day. They're still on their feet, there's no blood. In a way, you'd already know if there was a problem. So, and it took me quite a while to actually learn that I didn't need to do that every day. That they'll be fine until they're not, and they'll let me know when they're not. I mean, I remember when Timmy slashed his leg. He's still got the scar there, but he healed very well. No proud scar or anything on his back leg, it's just a scar. And but for some reason it was just about starting to get into the evening when I normally would just leave them to their own devices, and I felt appalled to come and check what they were doing, and I saw Timmy hobbling around on 3 legs, and then I saw the gash that he had done in his leg, and of course the first thing I do is call the vet. It's always evening, emergency, bum bum. She didn't know what to do with him because he was in so much pain. You know, he was fine if you didn't try and touch it, but the minute you tried to touch it, he was in, you know, he would not let it go, even with 2 lots of sedation in him. He had enough sedative in him to just he could just about keep upright, and we didn't want him to go down. So I just said to the vet, well, let's leave it for a couple of days, let him do what he needs to do, and then we'll see where he's at. It was a Saturday, I think it was a Friday night, so it was Monday when the vet came back, and he was fine. He would let me hose it out a bit once the sting had gone, and we would just spray some honey and lavender onto it, and he healed it himself. But the thing is I knew there was something wrong but within a few minutes of it happening, I think, because the fact that you wouldn't let anybody go near it, I knew it was very, very recent. It hadn't been done earlier in the day. So I just have to trust that. And so now I trust more that I will know what's wrong, when something's wrong, when they want some assistance. The thing is, I think he actually wanted me to know that whole sort of thing was very much around learning how much they can heal themselves, how much, if you let them be and just follow your intuition, how much they are very capable of healing themselves. Now, of course, environment is something to do with that. You might look at this environment and go, well, you got fences up everywhere, it's muddy, it's horrible, but then again, you know, it's February, it's the middle of still winter, but I don't fuss them. They have as natural an environment as I can possibly give them. They get herbs every day to keep their systems in balance. And we take one day at a time. The interesting thing right now is that I know I can, and I feel like I need to just be for a while. Just be me, be within me. My life is maybe not I need to stop being what I think everybody else needs me to be, which is quite I think a lot of us do that, actually. We define a story around who we are, which is not really necessary. But our stories are defined on what we perceive others to think, or what we want others to think of us, rather than feel from us. It's like being aware, being peaceful, just being like the horses. It feels great. But there's a lot of people that perceive that as scary, just to let go of the past, let go of the future, bring it all into the present. It feels difficult. And yet when you sort of get there, it's actually quite easy. It's almost too easy. It feels good. It feels very good not to worry about my horses, to be present with them. And as you probably notice, I sort of wander around the field, and it's very rare that I get horses in my space. Rizada likes to sometimes. I think she does just to test my awareness of myself and my feelings. It's like they know I'm comfortable in my own space now. I can just be with them, and I sense them as a herd and as individuals without needing to touch. And this is something that I say to people sometimes, you don't need to touch. Touch is an invasion of space. It's breaking boundaries, it's breaking trust. Because you're not asking, you're not honouring a no either. And so as you saw, I gave Chocolate a bit of a scratch earlier. She allowed that, but she didn't need it. She didn't come and ask for it. It was more, I asked her if I could because I wanted to She's such a teddy bear. um, but my desire, my want to do that has got nothing to do with her. It's all to do with me. It's my feelings, my desire, and my needs. And we should always be responsible for our needs, at least acknowledge them. You know, I was talking to a friend about when I got my dog, and when I think back, he's left us last February, about nearly a year now. It might actually be a year. Thinking about it, that might be why I'm quiet. Just remembering. But when I got him, when he was 6 months old, the reason I got him was because I wanted somebody to walk with. And my husband doesn't like walking. Well, not in the same way I do, which is more wandering than walking. I don't walk for exercise, I wander, I roam, and I do that at a very slow pace. And I quite enjoy walking with horses when they're on grazing walks, because they're slow, they're not going far. And but that was a need from me that had nothing to do with him. It was a condition almost. I'll love you if you walk with me. And but you know, over the years, as I've become more aware of my own feelings and my own needs, our relationship changed and became deeper, which was lovely. So there is a lot of challenges when we start to think about finding the power of our awareness rather than what we consider the power of control is, which it isn't. Control is not power. Honoring each other, whatever species we are, that is power. That is love, which is a power. When you start to find that, control just falls away. But it is a path, it is a spiral, and it's a learning, and you do it in layers, because particularly dependent on what control looks like to you in the first place. If control for me was about managing my situation at any given point in time, control for some will look like being controlled rather than controlling. So it all depends on your path and what you're willing to look at, address, change for the better, and from there become more healthy for it. It's not about reliving your past, which is another fear some people have. It's not about going back to every event and reliving it and getting peaceful with it. It's about getting peaceful with yourself. It's not about forgiving other people, it's about forgiving yourself for the way that you choked your own energy flow. I'm gonna put it like that. It's like you have a flow that is grounded, that is in connection with everything around you, and any fear you have, and I'm loving this because the horses have pretty much circled me. Any fear you have chokes your flow. Any anticipation, any control, anxiety, all of that is choking your control. Now, where that comes from is really quite irrelevant. It's how you move those blocks, move that choke, release the choke, if you like, release the choke. Stop hanging your handbag on the choke, take it off and release it. Let the petrol flow through the engine more smoothly, because that's what we need to do, isn't it? Cars don't run with a choke out all the time. Now I'm talking to people who are old enough to know what a choke is. I've got some old cars that have chokes. A choke is, what it does is it puts it bombards fuel into the engine to start with, to warm it up, to help it move. But if you keep the choke on, it floods it and it gets clogged and it can't move. And that's a bit like energy blocks. You know, when our energy flow is blocked, it's a trapped energy in our body. And it doesn't matter, you know, you can have problems with your knees, with your legs, with your hips, with your shoulders, with your neck, with your spine, headaches. All of these things are energy that is trapped somehow. And we can unlock it. It can take time, and it can take a combination of letting go of the emotions, becoming peaceful with those and letting that energy unblock itself. But then the physical body has to cope with the change as well, and that can take time. So if you consider if you consider a lower back problem, if you don't release the emotion that is underneath that problem, it doesn't matter how much physio you have, how much acupuncture you have. Acupuncture actually quite helps because it does release energy to a point. But if the emotion hasn't been sorted and addressed, and you have got peaceful with the original cause of that blockage, it doesn't matter what you do to the physical to fix the symptoms, it will come back. So, I know I had sciatica for a little while, and I worked with that quite a lot. But the amount of people that said to me, "Oh, you've had it once, it'll keep coming back." Well, mine hasn't. And that was 4 years ago. Oh, well, I say it hasn't. It has. It did come back once. But it was a weaker spot for a different reason. I actually had a twist between my shoulder and my knee, which affected my hip physically, because it was still sort of, I suppose, a spot where energy can block. But the block was actually in my shoulder and my knee, and it was a paradoxical emotion, something I was trying to achieve, but also blocking myself from achieving, neither of which I really needed to do. So, and it was showing itself up in a twist in my body. But that was a different thing, you see. It didn't come back because of the same emotion. So when you do start to address these things, it's interesting because, and I know other people that have had physical issues, and once they've addressed the emotion under there, they never come back. okay, our bodies get old and stiff, and yeah, I can do an hour's gardening and I'm knackered. But that's not to do with emotion, that's to do with the body aging. It's a different thing. So it's really understanding. A bit icky, Mrs. It's the grass, isn't it? It's changing. Yeah. You're having fun today. I'm giving you grass today. Those needs some, I think. Lost a bit of weight over winter. You don't. Me. But yeah, I mean, I could ramble about this for ages. I think what's interesting for me right now is the place I'm at, is the patience to now just be and make space within my awareness for whatever's coming next. That's what it feels like right now. And that is challenging another element to my personality. You know, we are human, we have personalities, which is about wanting to dive in and do something. But making space for something, for the potential of whatever comes next, is also challenging my, which I think I talked about last time, was anticipation of the fact that it might be difficult, I might not be able to do it, I might, you know, this, that. It's all fears. So I do feel very good that I've actually let go of quite a lot of that anticipation. And the reason I know I'm getting now is because Rizada has not been coming into my space and telling me I'm not in the right place today. And it's good. And I've actually, there she says the other one. There's my patience. So I'm going to leave that there. I just needed to verbalize that space. Developing the space. Developing a place of invitation, I suppose. Invitation for whatever needs to come next. We are a circle.